remaining 80% current affairs video, and general studies complete videos, please subscribe to our complete package. 3. Iran tests another mid-range ballistic missile and violates the UN resolution-imposed missile test ban. Which missile did Iran test fires? Why Iran's case is different though lots of countries have nuclear weapons? Why did United Nations Security Council ban all ballistic missile tests by Iran? What were the impact of P5+1 nations' sanctions on Iran? How does Iran justify its refusal to obey UN resolutions? Could Iran build a nuclear bomb if it chose to? GS Paper 2 Important international institutions, agencies and their structure, mandate. Why recently in news? Iran has successfully test-fired a medium-range GAD-110 ballistic missile near the Chabahar, a port city in southeast of country along the Gulf of Oman. The test was held in November 2015, but was disclosed by the Western intelligence agencies in December 2015. Just 1 month prior, Iran similarly tested a missile on October 10 called the Shahab-3. With this, Iran so far has breached of 2 United Nations Security Council (UNSC) resolutions which compels it to refrain from any work on ballistic missiles for 8 years. Which missile did Iran test fires? The missile, called the GAD-110, has a range up to 1,200 miles and is capable of carrying a nuclear warhead. GAD-110 ballistic missile is an improved and advanced version of Shahab-3 missile, which is similar to the precision-guided missile that was tested by Iran in October 2015. Why Iran's case is different though lots of countries have nuclear weapons? It looks to some like Iran has been singled out. After all, many countries have nuclear programs and at least 8 possess nuclear weapons. The reason why such attention has been focused on Iran is because it hid a clandestine uranium enrichment program for 18 years, in breach of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT. As a result, the UN Security Council passed 6 resolutions requiring Iran to stop enriching uranium, a process that can ultimately produce the fissile material for a nuclear weapon. Iran agreed to suspend parts of its nuclear program under a temporary agreement in November 2013 in return for some sanctions relief, but this was a stopgap deal, not an end to the crisis. The international community was also worried about unanswered questions surrounding possible military dimensions to Iran's nuclear program. Why did United Nations Security Council ban all ballistic missile tests by Iran? The global nuclear watchdog, the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, has been investigating this in parallel to the main nuclear talks, but says Iran has not provided enough information about its past activities. These include possible nuclear-related tests at a secret military site, where Iran has barred IAEA inspectors. Since Iran's undisclosed nuclear activities came to light, the country has been hit by a raft of sanctions by the UN, EU, US and other countries. These include a ban on the supply of heavy weaponry and nuclear-related technology to Iran, a block on arms exports, asset freezes, travel bans, bans on trade in precious metals, and bans on crude oil exports and banking transactions, among others. What were the impact of P5+1 nations' sanctions on Iran? The sanctions have contributed to a fall in the value of the Iranian rial and to rising inflation, with the cost of basic foodstuffs and fuel soaring. This has hit ordinary Iranians, with some rare protests reported. Under the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action (JCPA), reached on July 2015 between Iran and P5+1 nations, most sanctions on Iran were lifted in exchange for curbs on its nuclear program. The comprehensive accord will see oil and financial sanctions phased out gradually as the IAEA confirms Iranian compliance. However, the UN weapons embargo and the ban on buying missile technology will remain in place for 8 years. The term P5+1 refers to the UNSC 5 permanent members China, France, Russia, United Kingdom and United States plus Germany. How does Iran justify its refusal to obey UN resolutions? Iran has said it is simply doing what it is allowed to do under the NPT, which allows signatory states to enrich uranium to be used as fuel for power generation. Such states have to remain under inspection by the IAEA. Iran is under inspection, though not under the strictest rules allowed because it will not agree to them. In September 2014, the IAEA said Iran had failed to give a satisfactory explanation of its research at Parchin into detonators that could be used to trigger a nuclear weapon. Could Iran build a nuclear bomb if it chose to? There are mixed views on this. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry said in April 2014 that Iran had the ability to produce enough weapons-grade uranium for a nuclear bomb within 2 months. However, Mr. Kerry said IAEA confirmed Iran had converted all of its medium-enriched uranium into forms that were less of a proliferation risk. But any bomb-making process would likely be done in secret, so estimating timelines would be extremely difficult. Iran has insisted its nuclear program is entirely for peaceful purposes. What is satellite farming? How the series of remote sensing satellites launched by ISRO will be used for agricultural purposes. Write a note on Indian Remote Sensing Satellites Program. GS Paper 3, Achievements of Indians in Science and Technology, Indigenization of Technology and Developing New Technology. Satellite Farming. Satellite farming is a farming management concept based on observing, measuring and responding to inter- and intra-field variability in crops by using images provided by satellites. It can be said that the practice of satellite agriculture was enabled by the advent of GPS and GNSS. Aims of satellite farming are to match farming practices more closely to crop needs, to reduce environmental risks and footprint of farming, to enhance marketing of farm products, to enhance the inherent quality of farm products. How the series of remote sensing satellites launched by ISRO will be used for agricultural purposes. ISRO has launched Indian remote sensing satellites in thematic series viz. Resourcesat, Cartosat and Radar Imaging Satellite, RISAT-1. The images acquired by these satellites, in conjunction with field observations, are used for various applications in the area of agriculture development. It includes mapping and monitoring of agricultural crops and its condition, crop acreage estimation and production forecast, crop phenology and growth. It also includes site suitability for crops, cropping system analysis, watershed monitoring and management, command area management and route assessment, etc. Indian Remote Sensing Satellites Program. Following the successful demonstration flights of Bhaskar and Bhaskar 2 satellites launched in 1979 and 1981, respectively, India began to develop the indigenous Indian Remote Sensing (IRS) satellite program. The program aims to support the national economy in the areas of agriculture, water resources, forestry and ecology, geology, watersheds, marine fisheries and coastal management. India established the National Natural Resources Management System, NNRMS, for which the Department of Space, DOS, is the nodal agency, providing operational remote sensing data services. All these are placed in polar sun-synchronous orbit and provide data in a variety of spatial, spectral and temporal resolutions. Applications of Indian remote sensing satellites. Space-based inputs for decentralized planning, SIS-DP. National Urban Information System, NUIS. ISRO Disaster Management Support Program, ISRO DMSP. Biodiversity characterizations at landscape level. Pre-harvest crop area and production estimation of major crops. Drought monitoring and assessment based on vegetation condition. Flood risk zone mapping and flood damage assessment. Hydrogeomorphological maps for locating underground water resources for drilling well. Irrigation command area status monitoring. Snow melt run-off estimates for planning water use in downstream projects. Land use and land cover mapping.